Latin is a language that for over 200 years at least has not been spoken, but has been read only.
It is the indispensable key to the entire Western tradition and all the major European languages, especially the Romance ones.
We're very excited to be offering a brand new graduate program for people who are interested in studying both applied linguistics and Latin. It's a Master's of Arts in Applied Linguistics with a track called Latin and Classical Humanities. Students are required to take 12 courses, 4 of which are in the Applied Linguistics program, a core of 4 courses, and 8 courses from the Classics department, 6 of which are Latin classes. 1 is a Latin methods course, and 1 is a graduate level classics course. The idea is to combine the study of applied linguistics, the way that people acquire particularly second languages, with the study of Latin, and particularly with the teaching of Latin.
As teachers of Latin, they have a tremendous amount of explicit knowledge about the language, but they had never had the opportunity to use it and to be in a position of a learner trying to create meaning using the language. Learners come to the task of language learning with some knowledge, with some processing constraints. And basically language acquisition research attempts to describe and to better understand the tools, the processes that learners use to learn a language. It's not enough to know your subject matter. It's very important. In our case, the teachers of Latin have to know Latin, have to be able to describe it, have to be able to use it as well, but it's not enough. They have to go hand in hand with the learner's internal processes.
As part of this program, this summer, we offered for the very first time something we call the Conventiculum Bostoniense, which was a gathering of Latin teachers to do 2 things together. One was to speak Latin exclusively to one another for 7 days, 24 hours a day. They were, I think, both excited and surprised to be doing this. And we had 18 Latin teachers coming together to speak Latin with one another and to learn how to speak a language that they knew very well how to read but did not know how to speak.
I was trained to read Latin, not to speak it. And it's a totally different skill to speak and listen and understand. When I first signed that pledge, promising to speak only Latin the entire time I was here, I was certainly intimidated.
Because they know the language very well as teachers, they can read the language very well, but they've never tried to speak it.
Problem.
Dificultas. Laborem habere cod spectare et nescio verba.
As a result, they find themselves almost stupefied. As a matter of fact, the Latin word stupefacta was heard very frequently.
We tend, in the beginning, to be very, very tolerant of errors.
We introduce them gradually in a very relaxed atmosphere, and they realize that actually it is not so difficult as it might have seemed.
I don't have much experience speaking Latin, although I've been studying Latin for many years. Yet I found when I actually was here, and it was easier than I thought it would be. I was surprised at how well I was able to draw on what I already knew, and we were able to negotiate 6 people using a bathroom and figure all that out really well. And in fact, we've been able to gossip in Latin, tell jokes to each other. We've been able to communicate much more than I had expected, so it's been a really positive experience.
We went to the supermarket and we found ourselves talking Latin. There were 3 of us together in one grocery aisle, and we were talking Latin to each other.
People were asking us, what language are you speaking? Russian? And we said, no, Latin. And they gave us blank stares.
Outside of the classroom, they found that it was really important for them to have to speak Latin to one another. A number of them spoke to us in their journals about how necessary it was to have to communicate with one another in various different settings, and how that really drove their acquisition of the language and their ability to use the language.
We have among our numbers people who have been teaching Latin a couple of years. I've been teaching Latin 47 years, and everything in between. And I think we're all finding that it's equally helpful.
If you're going to teach a language, the first tool you need, the indispensable tool, is a profound knowledge of the subject. And the sad fact is, many people are teaching Latin who have not profound knowledge of the language. And this program will undoubtedly help teachers to teach better. It isn't that they will be pulling out all the stops with the beginners, but it means they've got the tools when they need it, and they don't have to hesitate or look it up ahead of time. They know it.
I'm sure that this experience will provide easier paths to gain access to other Romance languages and to other languages in general, and better knowledge of the Western culture, better mental discipline, and the advantages are and the benefits are really immense.
We feel that it's been a very helpful exercise for all the teachers in it. We will definitely be doing it again next year. We hope to introduce a second-year component so that teachers who dip their toe in the water of oral Latin this year can come back and do it again next year with a different academic focus and a different course.
Valete, sodales.
Omnia bona vobis sint.
Valete omnes.
Valete omnes quam prosperrime.